Hello everyone, what's up to the viewers? Welcome back to the Thompson Family YouTube channel. My name is Jada and I am back with another video giving you guys advice for those of you who have families. So in today's video, I'm going to talk about all things daycare and in the sense of affording daycare, because if you have young children, if you have infants, toddlers, whatever, and they're not in public school yet, then you know daycare is hella expensive. Daycare is so expensive in the United States, and when I found out that I was having twins, you guys, I was really afraid that I wasn't going to be able to afford to work and put them in daycare. And so when we found out that we were having twins, I started looking up daycares immediately because I know that a lot of them have long wait lists, and I know it's going to be hard to find one that is affordable in our area. So if you guys don't know, we live in a DC metro area, and the average cost of a daycare here is like over $2,000 a month, if not more. And I'm like, I don't know how I'm going to afford this. And it got to the point where me and my husband were visiting daycares in our area, outside of our area, in the suburbs, everywhere. And they were all like over $2,500 and had these long wait lists. And it got to the point when we were really contemplating sending our boys to Jamaica to live with his sister and go to daycare there, because the daycare was like a fraction of the price that it is here. And I'm like, well, we're just gonna have to go down there once a month to be with them because we can't afford to not work. And like, if we did work and send them to daycare, like one of our salaries would just go towards paying daycare. That's not even like our housing, food, clothing, all that stuff. So we were really like, maybe we have to send them to Jamaica. But praise to God, we found a daycare option where we're only paying $120. You heard that right, $120, not a week, not a day, but a month. We are paying $120 a month for their daycare. They have been going to this daycare since they were 6 weeks old. And God be the glory. Let me tell you guys something. That daycare that they go to, it is a home daycare. This woman, I love this woman. She only has them two. So she's basically like a nanny because she only has those two. My kids are the only children who go to this daycare. So it's not like a big facility, and she has been doing this over 30 years. She loves my kids, buys them gifts, gets them Christmas gifts, all this stuff. And she also gives me advice as a first-time parent. Like, she was like, you need to feed them more formula because they are not drinking 4 ounces anymore. They're drinking 6 or they're drinking 8. And I only pay $120 and the rest is paid by the government. So the point of this video is to tell you guys that it is possible. Thank God I didn't have to send my kids to Jamaica because I couldn't afford this astronomical daycare expense. And in this video, I'm going to tell you some things that you can do to ensure that your kids are taken care of and they're in a decent, facility or home daycare, but that you can afford it as well. So in today's video, I am going to talk about different daycare options that may work for you if you're looking for an alternative to the typical daycares and how much they typically cost. So I'm going to talk about au pairs versus nannies. I'm going to talk about some state subsidies that you can check out. I'm also going to talk about the early Head Start program, and then I'm going to talk about some subsidies that you can get from either your employer or if you are a student parent from your school. So if that sounds like something that you guys are interested in learning more about, make sure that you get your pen and make sure that you get your notebook and write down some of the things, because hopefully I would be able to help you get a lower cost and great quality care for your children. Stay tuned, okay? So I am going to start with the Early Head Start program. So if you're looking for an affordable daycare option for your child, then the Early Head Start program is one of the first programs that you should look at. And so the Early Head Start is a federal program. You know, it's all over the U.S. and it provides comprehensive services to low-income families with children under the age of 3. So, qualifying families receive support in areas such as education, health, nutrition, and more at little to no cost, and most times it is free. Now, I applied for Early Head Start program while I was pregnant, and I went to the daycare and I'm like, I want to apply. So I had to send all of our information, pay stubs, our IDs, and I sent it all to them, and I was placed on the prenatal wait list. Now, the thing with that is, once you're in a prenatal wait list, it doesn't mean that you have a spot. It just means that out of all the pregnant ladies, you are on that spot. So then once I gave birth to them, I did have to send her the birth letter from the hospital saying that yes, they are alive. Now they need to be on the child Early Head Start program. So I recommend starting this process as soon as you know that you're pregnant and you know that you're going to need some help. Now, like I said, this is a federal program. So the income limits vary depending on the state that you live in. So my state, they were pretty high because the cost of living here is astronomical, and that, I am in the DC area, so a lot of people do work for the government, so they have these huge salaries, so our median area income is quite high. When I looked in Florida, it was low compared to what it was here, so you need to make sure that you look at your state, right, your Early Head Start program, look at the income ranges and see if you are below that income for how many persons are in your household, and then you will know, how much you have to make. So you may be asking yourself, who qualifies for the Early Head Start? So the people who qualify are families who meet the income guidelines set by the government and are eligible to apply. Additionally, families who are experiencing homelessness, receiving public assistance, or have children with disabilities may also qualify for the program, even if you are over the income. Those are some other, ways that you could qualify. Now, like I said, you should start this process when you know that you're gonna have a baby. I don't care if you're 5 weeks. No, I don't care if you're 2 days. If you know that you're having a baby, you need to go ahead and start working on this, because it can be a long wait list depending on where you live. And here I am now, my kids are almost 8 months old, and I still haven't been accepted into the program, because like I said, this daycare goes until the age of 3. They don't allow new children to come into this program until a child ages out and they start, regular school. So if you want them, you better apply early, okay? So going past Early Head Start, there are programs and resources for families seeking affordable daycare options beyond Early Head Start, and one of those are state subsidies. Now, this is what I was able to get. Most states will subsidize daycare because lawmakers know that it's expensive. There is no denying that daycare in America is expensive AF. So they know that. So a lot of states do have these subsidy programs where even if you don't qualify for Early Head Start, their income guidelines are usually a lot higher and you're able to apply. So with us, we live in the county of Arlington, Virginia, right? And so we applied. Arlington, Virginia had its own subsidy for daycare, and we did the same kind of application we did for Early Head Start, where we sent in Jerome's pay stubs, we sent in our lease agreement to show that we have residency in Arlington, and we also provided the boys' birth certificate as well as their social. And the way that we applied for the Arlington County daycare subsidy is the same way that you apply for other government benefits such as food stamps or TANF or whatever other public assistance they have. So when I was pregnant, I did that application and I was denied because the caseworker was like, well, they're not born yet. So she was like, you have to wait until they're born. So once they were born, I did the application and we were approved within 1 week. Now, the good thing about us applying for is that I'm self-employed. So I technically have no income. If I don't make any money, I don't make any money. So therefore, when I did the application, and this is kind of a cheat sheet, but when I did the application, it only went on Jerome's income. So once we were approved for that, they're like, okay, you were approved for part-time daycare. So that is, you know, Monday, Wednesday, Friday we were approved for initially because it went off of his schedule and they were like, well, you're home so you can be with them. So then I'm like, I enrolled into a higher education program and I provided them my schedule and I'm like, well, these are the days that I'm going to be in school. So therefore, we need full-time care. So she approved us for full-time care and now they go Monday through Friday from 9 to 6. And when we started looking for the places, now what I noticed is the centers took the subsidy, but only partial amount of the subsidy. So let's say the daycare for the two of them was $4,000. With the subsidy, that would knock off $3,000 and the other $1,000 we would be responsible for, which was still too much for us. So then what we started doing is we started calling the home daycare providers who do it in their house. We started visiting the houses and they took the whole thing. They're like, all you have to do is pay the copay, which is $60 for each child, $120 in total. So we pay $120 on the first of the month and we went around to all these home daycare providers and this lady was like, yeah, the one who asked him now, she said, yeah, the kid that I had just aged out. He's in school now. So they would be the only two that I have. And I was like, thank you, Jesus. I'm like, yes, they can start. They'll be here on Monday. So look at wherever you live, call the like social services department of whatever city or county that you live in and ask them, do you provide a subsidy for daycare, and see what they say. And most times they have something or they can point you in the right direction and let them know, like, I need daycare because I have to work and if I don't work then we're gonna be homeless, and see what they say. Okay, so the next thing that I want to say, if you are looking for a program that will help you with daycare and childcare, also look at Child Care Awareness of America, and it's an organization that helps families connect with state programs that make daycare affordable. So instead of you going out and doing your own independent search, they can help you. You can give them a call, email, go on their website, and you can have them help you because this is what they do. And they provide information and resources to help families find quality child care that fits their budget, including financial assistance, subsidies, and other resources. So their goal is to ensure that every child has access to a safe and nurturing environment to grow and thrive. Okay, I also want to mention that if you work at a job, talk to the HR personnel and see if they offer any type of assistance with daycare. A lot of large corporations know that parents need daycare in order to come to work. So I remember, like, my aunt, she used to work at the corporate office of Home Depot, and they had a daycare there for their employees, and I don't remember if it was free or it was subsidized, but she was like, it was really affordable. And there are some other corporate, employers that offer daycare on site, or if they don't offer it on site, they have partnerships with local daycares that they will, help you cover the cost of it. So reach out to whoever it is in HR and see if your job offers something like that, and maybe you can help pioneer it if they don't. Okay, so the next avenue that I want to talk about in terms of affording daycare is the Child Care Access Means Parents in School program, or CCAMPIS. That's their acronym for short. I like to call it C Campus. Okay, so this program provides financial assistance for childcare to low-income student parents who are pursuing a college degree. So I was actually going to use this program initially, but what happened, I applied and I was approved, but what happened was I was in my last semester of that degree program, and I ended up graduating, and they were like, well, you're a graduate now, so you no longer are a student here, so you can't get this subsidy, because they were going to pay, like, I think up to 85% of the daycare for the boys. So then when I started a new degree program, the school that I was attending was like, oh, we offer the CCNPIS program as well. But I ended up getting the subsidy from Arlington County, and I found the daycare provider that I loved, so I was like, okay, I don't need this anymore. So this program, again, is called the Child Care Access Means Parents in School program. It's great. You can apply for it. You send in the same information, pay stubs, your school schedule, as well as if you have the Pell Grant, because if you get the Pell Grant, that means that you probably need financial assistance to go to school. And then you can also send in a letter to say, hey, this is what's going on. I want to finish my degree program. I have kids, or I have a child. And, they will send you a list of the daycare providers that they work with and have a partnership with. You contact them and see if they have a space. And then if they do, they will pay up to, I think it's 85%, or at least the school that I was going to would pay 85%. And then I would be responsible for the other 15% for both children. Beyond just that program, a lot of colleges and universities offer on-campus childcare centers or partner with local daycares, especially those colleges that are geared towards like adult learners. I've seen that a lot. Like, we offer daycare because we know a lot of our student demographics, it's older. So older learners means they have like older responsibilities, like children and things like that. So you can check to see if your school has something like that. And lastly, I want to talk about an au pair. And an au pair is typically a young person from a foreign country who lives with a host family, and they provide childcare services in exchange for room, board, and a small stipend. Now, I thought about this too. The stipend is, I think it is, let me find out for you guys before I even tell you the wrong thing. The au pair stipend. Okay, so the minimum weekly stipend is $195.75. So that's the minimum that you have to pay them. Now, I know a lot of people pay them more because they're not slaves and they're watching your kids. That's a lot of work, but that is the minimum that you can pay them. So you get this young person from a foreign country, and they come over here with you, and they're basically a part of your family because they're going to live with you, and they're going to, take care of your kids for you, and you're supposed to help them experience that American life. And au pairs are usually more affordable options than a nanny, and it's typically lower due to the cultural exchange aspect of the program. But it's important to know that their visa is only 1 year. So, your kids might get attached to them and like really love this person, and then boom, they're gone, and you have to get another one. But what really intrigued me about the au pair program is, one, it's not as expensive as a nanny, and two, the cultural exchange part of the program. Because let's say you get someone from, I don't know, Ecuador or something, and they're speaking Spanish around your kids, and now your kids are learning, the language because they're hearing it from their nanny or their au pair, and that's really cool. So look into that. Au pairs usually have to work with an agency who has like a huge database of these au pairs, and it has the information about them as well as the language they speak and a little bio, maybe what school they go to. And me personally, I don't want no young girl in my house with my husband. No, I'm just kidding. But it just didn't work for us. But definitely, if it works for you, check it out. Thank you so much for watching. I hope that you guys enjoyed this video. If you did, please give me a thumbs up so I know that it was helpful. Also, make sure to subscribe to the channel. And if you personally didn't need this information, but maybe you know someone who will, please make sure to send them this video. So I will see you guys in my next video. Thank you so much for watching. I will see you guys soon.